The exponential future has finally arrived. Of course, we futurists have been talking about the exponential future for decades. And what I mean by it finally arriving is that it is now available for everybody to see. Digital disruption is really taking hold, and as I'll say in a few moments, it is even disrupting digital itself. The first thing that we really noticed back in the 90s was when the music industry was disrupted, when the web made illegal downloads possible. All of a sudden, the music business was over. Then it was publishing. Newspapers and books have all been hit very hard and are still wondering how to adapt, what to do, whether it is possible for the old models to survive at all in the digital future. And then travel, air travel especially, was severely disrupted. I remember back in 1995, I hosted and spoke at a conference called Travel on the Internet. And that was the same year that EasyJet was formed in the UK. Today, air travel has been transformed by digital technologies, and that is going to be a continuous and ongoing process. And then it was the turn of hotels to be disrupted. TripAdvisor was first, allowing ordinary consumers to say what they thought about an event, about a venue, about a place, a restaurant. But then, of course, all of a sudden, Airbnb and other apps came along, which meant that hotels were no longer the only game in town. And that disruption is continuing. Then, of course, it was road travel, and it was the Uberification of everything. Taxis were completely and absolutely disrupted, and are being so today by Uber, by Lyft, and by others. Television has been disrupted by the arrival of streaming from the likes of Netflix and Love Film. People are no longer going to watch terrestrial broadcast television. And then, of course, the professions were disrupted. The insurance industry has been massively disrupted by, for example, in car insurance, by digital cameras on the dashboard. And in terms of health insurance, by digital technology providing more information about the insured person's data. Even legal services have been disrupted, with a great deal of the admin being passed to artificial intelligence. And on the subject of professions, even medicine is in the middle of a major disruption. As we patients all start to gather and to wear digital technology which records our health, so that will completely alter the way doctors do their work, the way hospitals respond to us, and the way that the pharmaceutical companies develop their drugs. Even banking is being changed and challenged by peer-to-peer lending. It's not just an issue of banks needing to go online and to deliver their existing services digitally. What's happening is they're being challenged for mortgage lending by peer-to-peer lending. Ordinary people grouping together through the internet to lend money. And perhaps money itself is being disrupted. The idea of digital cash has been around 20 or 30 years, but now Bitcoin may, I say may, be in the process of disrupting money itself. And even illegal drugs, heroin, cocaine, are being disrupted by digital technology. Now, you may not think that bioengineering a yeast strain to make heroin is particularly digital. But of course it is, because all the modelling needed to make such bioengineering possible is digital. And the speed and the low cost of that processing have led to the fact that very soon illegal drugs will be made close to the point of consumption, and the whole international illegal drugs crime ring will collapse. Even IT itself, digital, is actually being disrupted by digital. and IT professionals are having a hard time struggling with new patterns of work like agile working, and with workers who want to bring their own technology into corporate structures, uncaring about security risks and about the difficulties. And finally, work itself is being profoundly disrupted. I do not believe in the doomsayers who predict a future of mass unemployment. We were saying that 40 years ago in the 1970s because of the feared automation. What is clear is that despite all of the disruption that I have just described, new opportunities for work will arise, doing new things in new ways we can't even yet imagine. That's what makes the future so interesting, and that's why digital disruption is merely a path to somewhere else.